Are prices just getting too crazy where you live? Did you get a promotion? Maybe thinking about moving somewhere else other than the city that you're in right now. And boom, Detroit pops up. But you're like, wait a minute, I heard things about Detroit. How could I move there? Well, this video is for you because I'll be breaking down 5 picks that I help people move to every single month from out of state to live comfortably here in Michigan and Metro Detroit. And I'll actually be saving my most economical pick for the end. What's going on? If you're new to the channel, my name is Ed Butler. I make videos just like this one every single month, giving you all there is to know about Metro Detroit and Detroit itself. Giving you what's real about Detroit and not some news story you heard from 20 years ago. If that's something you want to learn more about, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos I put out. I'm also a full-time realtor, so if you're looking to make any type of moves in real estate, I'd love to have your back on your home buying, selling, or investing journey. All my information is down below. Feel free to reach out. And with that, let's hop into the video. All right, number 1 on my list is definitely one that's well overdue for me to make some type of mention of in one of my videos. And that's gonna be Royal Oak, Michigan. Seeing how my office is actually located right here in the heart of downtown Royal Oak, I don't know how I've let this go by without talking about, but here we are. So Royal Oak, Michigan is located in Oakland County, and you're about 20 minutes north of downtown Detroit. The population is right around 60,000 people in the city, so it's not too crazy large, but just enough to throw its weight around. One of the major draws for Royal Oak, Michigan is its vibrant downtown. Like I said, my office is right here downtown on Main Street. You have tons of bars, restaurants, a huge vibrant nightlife that's partaking here in Royal Oak, and it's just adjacent down the road from Ferndale, who has also just a bustling downtown as well. Beyond that, it's home to a ton of great parks, walkable streets, a very family-friendly atmosphere. So it's definitely one that people have been aspirationally wanting to move to have a great quality of life. Now, if you want to call Royal Oak home, the average price point last year was between $325,000 and $375,000. This is definitely one of my favorites on the list. We sell homes into Royal Oak all the time, and I've seen people make some major returns in Royal Oak as well. I actually helped a first-time home buyer. He had fresh out of college. She bought a house here in Royal Oak, first house. I believe we bought it for around $240,000. Just a year and a half later, she decided, hey, I want to leave, move to Chicago, and let's sell it. We were able to sell that same property for $325,000 with no major renovations done. And so that's the type of appreciation that's happening right here in Royal Oak. All right, next up on my list is another one that's a personal favorite because pretty much I put this together based on what I think, right? So it's gonna be Rochester Hills, Michigan. Rochester is also in Oakland County, but a little bit further away from the city than Royal Oak was. So you're about 33 minutes north of downtown Detroit. And Rochester has a little bit larger population than our previous city, and it's coming in right around 75 to 80,000 people living there. Now, one of the main draws of Rochester, Michigan is very similar to Royal Oak, but just a little touch different, right? So the main downtown, the literally Main Street again, is one of the most bustling places in all of Metro Detroit. There's a ton of great bars and restaurants here, but a lot more restaurants there than bars or nightclubs, like as opposed to Royal Oak. Rochester is a little bit more of a mature crowd than to say Royal Oak. So some people have, did the Royal Oak thing and then graduated and moved on up into Rochester later down the line. They're also home to a bunch of great parks. I mean, some of the parks in Rochester are rivaled by no other place in Metro Detroit for sure. My own personal family, we go to the Rochester Municipal Park all the time during the summer, and they just added another park, the Innovation Park in Rochester, which is even better than that park. So if your family is one of those outdoorsy types that like to spend a ton of time out and about in the summers, then Rochester could be a great fit for you for sure. And if you want to call Rochester home, the average price last year was between $400,000 and $450,000. I remember just a few years ago, you could get like a turnkey, beautiful, over 2,000 square foot on a quarter-acre house in Rochester right at $400,000. Now that's pushed a little bit higher for sure. So it's continued to grow because so many people want to live in this area. All right, next up on the list is going to be our smallest city of all of them, and that's going to be Plymouth, Michigan. This bad boy is located in Wayne County, so breaking through and breaking up our Oakland County love. It's going to be in Wayne County, located about 30 minutes west, kind of like northwest a little bit of downtown Detroit. And I alluded to it being the smallest. The population size is right about 9,200 residents in Plymouth. Now, one of the main draws for Plymouth is its downtown as well, but this one, for different reasons, is because it has a ton of 19th century architecture still preserved there. So it's almost like you're taking a time capsule back to a quaint town ages ago, and it's still just bustling, and you have all the vibes and family atmosphere. It's an amazing time. It's an amazing place, especially in the fall with a lot of the events and community events that are happening down there. And it just feels like a good place to have hot cocoa and walk around the park. In addition to that, they have some really top ranked schools bordering right there on Northville, which is his neighbor right there. So you're in really good company when you're in Plymouth. And if you want to call Plymouth home, last year, the average purchase price was between $425,000 and $475,000. I actually recently sold a condo over in Plymouth, and it was literally the only one on market priced below $300,000. And when I tell you, we had a frenzy because so many people want to be in this area and live, and the price points have just been rising and rising over the last few years. I actually think the price points in Plymouth were $100,000 less just a couple years ago. So this is a community that people are wanting to move into, one that have that old town feel, and Plymouth is one that delivers it. At this point in the video, if you get anything out of it, or if you learned or just entertained by anything, feel free to make sure you go ahead and drop a like down below. It helps a ton with the videos. All right, next on the list is definitely one that's not talked about a ton, and I can say the same for the final one as well. But it's going to be Shelby Charter Township. This bad boy is located in Macomb County, and it's about 40 minutes northeast of downtown Detroit. And with the population is right around 82,000, it's not necessarily as small as it once was. It is definitely emerging as a hustling and bustling city that has grown tremendously over the years. I can remember years ago, Shelby was just this small emerging city. Now it's rivaling a lot of the big dogs. Now the draw for Shelby Charter Township is that extremely family friendly. It ranks very high in safety, and then it's literally like a sister city to Rochester, but in two different counties. They border each other, but guess what? Shelby's tax rate is way lower than Rochester, but you can get very similar amenities in the house, sizes, and prices. So you can definitely get a little bit more bang for your buck if you want to be in that Rochester area, if you go right over to Shelby Township. And speaking of average price points, if you want to call Shelby home, the average price point last year was between $400,000 and $450,000. I'm personally a really big fan. It's definitely on the radar for me and my family personally in our next home. We love the areas up there, Rochester and Shelby, and just seems like you definitely get a little more bang for your buck in Shelby. We recently showed a house in Shelby that had a pool that was fully decked out. It was a tri-level, and that bad boy went for $430,000, which is really hard to do in some of the areas south of it. All right, last but not least, I did tell you I had one that's going to be the most economical, and I was saving it for last. So this boy is going to be St. Clair Shores, Michigan. This city is located about 27 minutes from downtown Detroit, just to the east, a little bit north, and it runs the border along Lake St. Clair. Although it feels like a smaller city, it actually has a pretty sizable population, coming in right about 60,000 people. The draw of it is the proximity to Lake St. Clair, of course, and then what we call the nautical mile, which is the portion of Jefferson Avenue that runs through St. Clair Shores and directly faces Lake St. Clair, which has a ton of restaurants, shops, all the above, bordering it, facing the lake. It is a really family-friendly area. They have a lot of great parks that face the lake, have a lot of different, boating options for those people who love boats and want to have a boat. Very good spot to be able to have who love boats. A very good place to own a property, to be able to have access. That in Harrison Township, which is a sister city right next to it. And if you want to call St. Clair Shores home, the average sales price was between $200,000 and $250,000. last year, which is a lot more economical. For sure, a little bit of a throwback from what we've been hearing as of late of the home prices nationally. My younger brother is actually a product of the school system there. We actually lived in East Point, and it shared a border and had access to schools in St. Clair Shores, and he went to South Lake High School, which is a St. Clair Shores high school. They have two major high schools there, that one and then Lakeview, and it's split up. So definitely good education there, I'd say. Kids doing all right, so this could be a good place for you to call home. And that's a wrap for this video. These are 5 great cities that if you're moving to the city or you're moving within the city that are on your radar option. These are 5 great options if you're moving to the city or moving within the city that you hadn't considered. These are ones to put on your list. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button below. And if you need any help at all with real estate, feel free to reach out. All my information is down below. I love to have your back on your home buying, selling, or investing journey. And with that, I'll catch you on the next one.